Okay, hi guys. This is an update. Today is March 28th, 29th. Okay, today's March 29th. Update on my skin, the progress of my skin. So, what I've been doing is I have a wonderful niece who makes facial scrubs, body scrubs, and she made one for me because I really do prefer natural products, right? So, because I prefer natural products, what I've done is I'm using what I know and what I'm learning and who I know. So one of them is my niece, and she owns her own brand. It's called Elora's Choice, and so she made me a facial scrub, and it's with turmeric and I think brown sugar or something. But anyways, it's a scrub. It's got turmeric in it, and I've been applying it, and as you can see, the dark like before my skin literally I don't know if you remember my before shot. I'll try to put it in, but I had the light highlighted around my brows and really dark around my eye, my forehead, my cheeks, just around my eyes here were just so dark. So aside from the facial scrub that I have been doing, I've also been using more natural soaps. My sister is a soap maker, so I'm using the soaps. I requested, actually, I should say, I requested a specific soap from her, which is like no dyes or colors in it, and it's got eucalyptus. I wanted that menthol to try to like open up my pores so that I when I do my scrubbing and whatnot, it'll clean it out really well. And then also I finish off with my cold water, of course, and then afterwards my moisturizer. Now, the thing is that I'm also a creator. So what I've been looking into is making my own lotion for my skin. Something separate for my face than for my body. So I haven't created it yet. I've got my ingredients list going because I'm researching the effects and the individual ingredients and also the combination of these ingredients upon on bodies. So I've got my ingredients list going, and in the meantime, I'm just using a very basic cream that I made. When that's done, I have my sister's cream also. That I asked her to keep really basic for me, and I just put that onto my skin, just very slight amount to moisturize my face, and then a different one for my body. So as you can see, there has been changes. I'm getting a little, it's getting somewhere. It's getting there. It's happening. It's happening. So what I've been also doing is smoothies and green drinks because, as I said before, that there is an underlying skin issue. There is an issue with my gut because I know that I'm dealing with a leaky gut. I also know that I was dealing with effects of what do they call that? Um, when you don't do too well with with yeast or flour. I don't remember the name off my heart. Anyhow, uh, I have an issue with that. So I had to start just cleansing. And what I did was start with my green juices because when I had my initial issue with my with acidosis, there we go. With acidosis quite a few years ago, about 8 years ago, I had an issue with acidosis. Had no clue it was acidosis. Went to the doctor. My GP sent me to an internal specialist. I was with my internal specialist for a year. He passed me on to another internal specialist for another 6 months. When I finally said, "That's it. That's enough." No more for that. So, and they couldn't come to any conclusion, to let me know that your body's acidic. We did every test that I could ever think that could have been done. They did every test, nothing. Oh, your skin is fine. I mean, no, your body's fine, your blood is fine, your blood works fine, your blood pressure is good, everything. The only thing that they could find was, oh, your iron numbers are a little low. It's been that way since I was a child, so nothing new. That I just deal with by eating my beets, and when I really was into a lot of meat, it was liver and red meats and stuff like that, but nothing that you could really be worried about. So I said, okay, goodbye, doctors. And I went on my own quest to find out what was going on with me. Lo and behold, to make a long story short, I was at a family get together for one of our little nephews, cousins, sorry, for little male cousins. And there was a nurse there who was a friend of the family's. And she and I started, we're just talking about health. And she said, well, tell me the symptoms. And I started telling her the symptoms. And she said, that's acidosis. And I was like, what? She said, yeah, your body's acidic. And I thought to myself, a year and a half journey, going all over the place, thinking, like, giving out so much pints of blood, it felt like, and I'm doing everything. I mean, ultrasounds, MRIs, everything you could think of, I was doing it. No answers. Have a conversation in someone's kitchen at the table, and boom, acidosis. I went home, I looked it up, and truth, it was true. All the symptoms right there. And I was like, you know what? And so what I did at that point was I began detoxing. And after detoxing and totally changing how I ate. But I went so drastic because at that point the symptoms were just raging in my body. So I went drastic and I cut out practically everything you could think of, guys. Practically everything you could think of. And because I was desperate not to be experiencing that level of pain, that intensity of pain and discomfort. I was shedding skin on a daily basis, shedding skin. If you've ever seen ashes from a fire pit, before it became like gray, if you've ever seen like black ashes in a fire pit, I was waking up every morning seeing that in my sheets. Okay. It's like my skin was burning, literally burning on a nightly basis, on a daily basis, literally just burning off. That's what was happening with me. So I didn't want to go through that anymore because what was happening is as soon as I ate something, immediately I felt it just burning through my skin. Immediately. I mean, I won't go into any details, but you get the picture, So I just went on a really desperate, at first it was desperate because I didn't want to experience that anymore. So I said, you know what? Everything that affects me negatively, I'm going to cut it out. I cut out more than 3/4 of my diet. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do an elimination diet. I eliminated practically everything in my diet, y'all. So the only thing that I was eating really was just, let me see, plain brown rice. The only kind of meat that I would eat would be sardines in water, spring water. I would not eat onions. The only vegetable that I ate was cabbage, steamed with a little bit of salt. That's all that I was having at first. Afterwards, when I started to get a bit more confidence, I would put turmeric and steam my cabbage with turmeric, and I would put onions with my with the sardines, and that's what I was eating. Guys, that's what I was eating. Like once a day, I'd have that as a meal. I couldn't do more than that because it's like my body just could not filter it. My body couldn't handle it. So otherwise, I was just drinking water. I made a lot of green juices. I was juicing vegetables, no fruit whatsoever, not realizing that even a green apple would have been better, but just because even natural juices were just, I felt like I was just being singed from the inside out. So I cut out all form of fruits, and you can imagine that within 3 months I had lost an immense amount of weight. I was looking really, here's the miracle of it. Nothing showed up on my face, so I looked amazing, like I was just losing weight. Wow, you lost weight so quickly. Oh, I feel like I'm dying. I felt like I was at death's door, losing all that weight so quickly. Looking really nice, you know. I mean, just coming out in some real nice clothing and everything, but feeling like I was at death's door. So I continued with that for a while. I was speaking to an I guess you could call her an herbalist. She owns a store where they sell natural products, and she knows all about the herbs and everything that you could think of in terms of naturopathy. So I was just getting some pointers from her, and she was telling me how long to do, from how long not to do something, you know, and she was recommending certain things, teas and such forth. And so I was following some of her recommendations because some of the things I knew if I ingested that, it would just take me over the top in terms of pain. So nothing too flavorful. And I am, as you can see, a black woman. I was born in the West Indies. I've got parents who love West Indian food, spicy as you can get it. So I like my spice. I like my spice. So that was so hard to have no flavor in what I would call no flavor in my food, you know? So I went there, and within 3 months, my body began to heal because I went so extreme. I would not recommend that. I would not recommend that because it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life because the total cold turkey, which is not my favorite way of stopping things, I prefer gradual so that the stress, the emotional stress does not impact me so hard. So I totally went cold turkey on everything. No milk, no form of dairy whatsoever, no form of sugar whatsoever. The only starch I ate was rice. And then, because you can imagine, I even cut down my portion, right? So I was down to about a cup of rice, cooked, not a cup before it was cooked. After it was cooked, a cup of rice. Did I even eat that much? Maybe half a cup. So it was between a half a cup to three-quarters of a cup of rice. And then I would do that'd be on my plate, and then the cabbage, which was most of what I ate, and then just a couple. At first, just one, guys, one sardine. That was it. I couldn't tolerate anything else because sometimes I couldn't even finish that. So that's what I did, and I ate like that for about a month and a half to 2 months. Nothing additional, and then I started to feel a difference, not in terms of strength, because I met up with a young woman who had been through a crisis also, and she said to me, "You need to get fruits." And so she gave me a few recipes of green juices, and this is turning out to be longer than I thought. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to make it quick, but I just really feel the need to share this story because it impacted my life so very much. I believed in healthy eating before. That changed everything. I believe in it even more now. I thought I cared about where my food came from before, but now I care about it even more. So this is where I'm coming from, you know, with calling this right here a vessel. This is where I'm coming from. Um, where was I? Yeah, so she gave me some recipes of green juices, and in them there the fruits that were in the green juices were fruits like green apples, you know, or Fuji apples. And she said you can just change it to green apple. It's not as sweet, and even though it is sour, it's not like that kind of acid. So she said you do need though the natural juices. It does give you the energy that you need. That's why you feel like you're so weak. You're about to pass out all the time because you have no natural sugars flowing through your body. Your body needs that. And salts, because I had taken out salt completely. And she said your body needs some form of salt, some form of sugar, and you took everything away. So after that little piece of information there, I just real gingerly, started to put in the green apples in my drinks. And then I went online and I found YouTube. I was never really an online present kind of person before. I found YouTube, and I learned that you could just type in what you're looking for, and it would pop up. So I found a couple of YouTubers. One was a doctor. One was like he was a raw eater, a raw vegan, raw veganist. I think that's what they call themselves. And he was all about healing with the foods and fruits, mainly fruits. Actually, he was using. So he was giving like different fruit juices that he would juice himself, and what they did for the body. So I went into that, and that helped me intensely. I listened to the doctor and I heard what he was saying, and he gave like testimonials and everything, and what certain fruits will do for your body. Whether like you could spend a day just eating like one specific type of fruit, and it would literally just like flush you out. Watermelon's one of them. Literally flush you out. Watermelon will do. And so I went on a watermelon day here and there. And it flushed me out because with the changing of the way that I ate, what I didn't realize was that if I didn't ingest something that would help my bowels and my intestines, my bladder to be cleaned out, all of what was being released by changing my eating, most of it was stuck. And so if I had not gone into the juices, I would have ended up being constipated and not understand why I was constipated, not realizing that the necessity for not just water, but the necessity for certain types of green juices and fruit juices, juiced yourself, not pre-made in the store, juiced yourself. The necessity is vital because it will help your systems to work in such a way that will release and remove the toxins from your body. Part 2 to come.